You said every day we live.
What is good, everybody? We are back with your post game show, your post game reaction, and the highlight of Ravens versus Texans is injuries. It was a sloppy game, much like I expected it to be, and I didn't expect too much from it. I got to see what I needed to see, and I stand by where I said I had the Ravens ranked early on. Yes, it was a 16-point win, but it was over an even sloppier Houston Texans team. Mr. Ghost, what did you feel about the game?
Well, first we're gonna start with me being right about the Ravens getting 4 sacks. That's where I'm gonna start. One by a defensive back, one by a middle lineman, and two from linebackers.
I gotta give you that. You were on point. You called it. And I've never seen it more accurate than when you called it. That was absolutely amazing. Um, the O Express had a decent game, nothing crazy. We got B in the building from Lunch Break Hot Take. If you don't know, go subscribe to these gentlemen. Great content. Show every Wednesday, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The show is fire. Gotta tune in. Great content. Ravens, Panthers, all types of. Mr. Up to him and
Of course.
more. And you see the T, the athlete, and mine's. I got the alert that mine's will be delivered soon, so I'm waiting on my athlete shirt as well. So support the fam. Get in here, subscribe to these gentlemen. Great content.
Ain't that all three of y'all over my left shoulder over here? That's all three of
It
y'all, right?
sure is. That it sure is. It sure is. So, other than you being extremely accurate on the 4 sacks, what else did you take away from this game?
What we all took away. Our guys need to play in the preseason. Like, not nothing extensive, but they need to do something in the preseason. Like sitting around on the side of the bench cracking jokes all day. A, that's not their style. And B, it's not conducive. You can get an injury at any time, but you definitely going to get a lot of injuries, like players used to when they tried to play their way into shape during camp.
Yep.
And you're asking guys to play their way into shape during the season. Now, why is it so important for us to have this conditioning test that nobody can seem to fucking pass? But you're not going to get them in condition for the games.
I was about to say it's interesting because they have what is a lot of players now have said is the hardest conditioning test in the league, but we also could carry like the most injuries in the league. So that's gotta coincide with each other, right? I mean, is it overworking guys in practice or is it, underworking guys in the preseason? It could be a combination of both, really. I mean, maybe the weather had something to do with it, but I really think it was a lot of rust and the body not being used to what it had to go through today. Hence why I agree. We got to let them play in the preseason, even if it's, a quarter each game or, a drive each game. You got to do something to let these guys get their bodies loose and ready to be hit.
Yeah, they're creatures of habit.
Exactly. And you seen Lamar. Lamar was extremely rusty today. I mean, there was one point where they snapped the ball. He went to get set up, and he just dropped it, just popped right out of his hands. So it's one of those things where, because of the time off and no play in the preseason, we got extremely sloppy play, and I mean, it's something that's going to get better throughout the season. I mean, you'll probably see it strongly improved by next week. It's not going to be flawless. It's never going to be flawless because it's football. But it's going to get better. The question is, how much better? And not only will it get, but can it get with the number of injuries we had today? Especially with guys like Ronnie Stanley, Tyler Lindenbaum, Marcus Williams. I mean, these guys they're not just, oh, we can replace him, no problem. These are star players for this team. What are your thoughts on how we replace them if they got to miss time? And what do we do to, I don't know, strengthen that defensive backfield if Marcus Williams is going to miss a couple weeks?
I mean, I said 2 years ago in COVID, y'all need to let Ronnie Stanley go. Like, it's the Jonathan Ogden Part 2 injury. You not coming back from that as a 365-pound lineman, 330-pound lineman. On your back foot, you got a guy running a 4.340 at 250 pounds slamming into you. How are you going to anchor that ankle for 17 games and it not be sore? Like, it's just,
So
just not going to happen.
I remember the whole Orlando Brown thing, right? When he played for us, and it was a question of he wanted to play left tackle. And then Ronnie Stanley was supposed to be.
I said trade Ronnie at that point.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I made a statement saying we should trade Ronnie. And everybody looked at me like, well, his contract's huge. I go, yeah, but he's also a Pro Bowl left tackle. Somebody's going to fall for that. Somebody's going to say, okay, well, when he gets healthy, he's going to be a problem. We could have got something in return for Ronnie at that point. Now he's looking like he may be injury prone. Now, it's not necessarily his fault, right? All on him because, like you said, he's a big guy, 350-pound lineman. And then you got guys that's 250, 300 pounds running at you with 4.4 speed, like you said, and you're trying to quick step back on that bad ankle. It's kind of tough. And it's not just something that's easy to do. So I don't necessarily blame him for not being able to, you know what I mean, heal 100%, especially in a contact sport like this.
I'm not blaming him. I'm actually blaming our inability to see the future. We saw this with Jonathan Ogden. Why are we not? Your best ability is availability. You have a guy who's healthy enough, plays left tackle as well, and you trade the healthy guy? Yeah.
Now, this isn't to say that Orlando Brown Jr. is out there playing his behind off, being an all-pro, at tackle, but he's been available.
Right. Like you just said. Like the Chargers. So the Chargers kept Phillip Rivers, and look how that paid off.
It's one of those things where you start to question, finally, maybe everybody else starts to question the leadership of the team and how guys are being selected to stay on this roster. Marcus Williams is now turning into an injury-prone player. I mean, the beginning of last year, the beginning of this year, he's missing time. I mean, this is only his second year with us, so I'm not going to say, he's missing time every time we start a season. But so far, every time we start the season, Marcus Williams is going home. So
he had these problems before,
and that's true. I don't recall any big injuries when he was with the Saints. I don't recall. But who do you think is going to be the man or can be the man to fill his shoes? I know Ardarius Washington had a pretty good game today. And I said about him in the preseason, and when we signed him as an undrafted rookie, I said that kid he's undersized, but he can play. He did darn good at TCU, and he didn't get as much of the focus because he was paired with another safety that was very good. But
he had a nice tackle for loss too against a bigger back.
Yes, and he that's what he does though. He's not afraid to hit. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he had a sack too late in the game. But he plays hard. He plays fast. He's gonna defend the pass. Like he'll go defend the jump ball, no matter how big the receiver is. He's feisty. He's gonna fight. I love that, and I want to see him on the field more, but not due to an injury. I think he's earned that playing time, but I don't want to see him out there just because Marcus Williams is hurt. I want Marcus Williams on the field. I want Kyle Hamilton on the field. You drafted him number 14.
I
He's
thought
got
they
to be
were
on the
gonna
field.
have Washington and Marcus back deep and let Hamilton be closer to the box. That's what I thought they were gonna do.
I think they got Marcus to have him. I'm sorry, not Marcus. We know why they got Marcus. I think they drafted Hamilton to have him play deep safety. Like they feel that he could be out there and do what Marcus Williams does. That's one of the things they like about him. They feel he has the speed and the ability to do what Marcus does. I don't necessarily believe he has that coverage ability, but like I said, they think, hey, cover this field and he could do it. And he does. He has shown that he's getting adjusted to the speed of the game. So he might be able to be that guy to cover a part of the field. But as long as they don't stick him in man coverage, I think he'll be okay. But I don't know if I can't say I completely have faith in him yet.
They drafted him height,
Now,
size, speed. That's all.
Exactly. Because it's not like you've seen outstanding coverage at Notre Dame.
He's 6'3", and he can get from one
reaction
hash to
time.
the sideline. That's all that matters. 6'3", he can get from the opposite hash to the sideline. But those will lead to picks eventually. But if they go 5 wide and you got him lined up over top of the tight end, yeah, he'll be all right. They got 5 wide and you put him over top of Tank Dell or somebody who can technician run a route. Man, he's gonna look like Iverson versus hot sauce at the N1 tournament.
Listen, on the other side. All right, let's talk the other side of the ball real quick, because I think it's some things that needs to be highlighted on the offense as well. And I do want to get out of here fairly quickly. We got to get out of here before 8 because I want to watch Hendo. Hendo's going live. The Rogue Pod, if you don't know, is going live 8 p.m. So I definitely want to be a part of that and see that show. And he gives great content. I can only imagine what's coming. Now,
I'm gonna need you to correct yourself and say low lights when you talk about the offense today.
okay, low lights. All right. Now, my first problem, my first issue I had, or the first thing that surprised me, was the lack of use of Isaiah Likely. And I felt like this was an opportunity that they could have took advantage of the defense and their lackluster linebacking core. You pair Likely against those linebackers, and you got a mismatch problem. And it seems like they have tried not to exploit that. I mean, except having Charlie Kolar drop one wide open pass, which was terrible. Nothing we could really do about that, though, right?
Well, I got another. So we have Andrews out. We know teams are going to double Andrews when he comes back. As Coach said before, you run a play, you add a nuance to that play, you run it again, you add a different nuance. Why didn't we feature our tight end somewhat more so that when Andrews does come back and we run a 2 wide, 2 tight end set, that teams have to figure out who they want to guard? Because today it pretty much showed, hey, Andrews ain't in the game. We just gonna throw to wide receivers and backs, and we just gonna leave it at that. You could have highlighted them somewhat in a couple plays here and there to make teams actually think that we might throw to somebody who's a tight end who's not Andrews.
Well, not only that, I think there was even uneven distribution of the ball to the wide receivers. Bate had 2 catches. Odell had 2 catches. and
4
Zay had
targets.
like
So
6. Yeah, he had more targets, but I think it's just one of those things where they're still getting in the flow of things, right? They still are trying to understand each other. And the one thing you see is that Zay's speed and route running is showing like immediately. His ability to get open is amazing. And even better is his ability to make plays in the open field.
you see how many targets
And
they had?
coach said nine of them things. That's what I'm saying. So I think there was a huge discrepancy there. But was it because of the rest of the or and not the offense not being gelled together yet, or just because Zay seems to be the guy to go to because he's going to get open the quickest? Because that shiftiness was a whole nother level. Like I don't know. A lot of people comparing him to AB, and I like that comparison because his route running is masterful. But it's like a mixture of AB and maybe AB with Dante Hall's speed. Like that's what I feel he is. He's AB with Dante Hall's speed and agility.
I don't think Dante Hall was fast. He was shifty, but he almost got ran
Dante
down
Hall,
more than a few times.
well,
He
yeah,
almost got ran
but
down a few times.
Dante Hall had some good speed on him though. He had good speed on him. But I haven't seen. I can't sit here and say Zay is that much faster than him yet. Zay hasn't outrun everybody in the league, so I don't think AB was faster than Dante Hall. I mean, it's possible. AB used to be quick as heck, so maybe it's my recency bias of AB that makes me think he was a little slower than what Zay is. But I see it as far as the route running goes and the ability to make plays, absolutely. And I think the best thing that came of today was that even through all the struggles, we put up over 20 points. How mad can we be at an offense that struggles the way they did and still finds a way to put up that many points?
I'm not mad at them, but some things were a little obvious. Some things gave you them Greg Roman PTSD flashbacks.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about, and we might as well talk about it. The 2 screen passes to Zay, back to back, same side of the field. Terrible play calling in that situation. Now, I would have liked to see them try to get a pass to the end zone at that point, but they went with back-to-back screens to Zay. I don't know if he was trying to prove a point, if they thought because they just did it that they were gonna sneak one over and do it again. Neither of them did well. Neither of them gained yards. I see a lot of people on Monken's head about that play calling, and they're calling him Greg Roman light. Now, I will say this: it was questionable, but do we now say it's the coordinators, or do we say Harbaugh's over there like, hey, run that play back again? I think he's gonna catch him. Do it again. I think it's gonna catch him off guard. Do you think Harbaugh's had anything to do with that play call?
I don't think he had anything to do with it, but like Coach said, sometimes you call plays to put them on film to set something up for something later. So I mean, Harps was probably like, look, we kick the field goal, or if something happens to pop and we go for it on 4th and 1, cool. So he probably gave him, hey, do whatever. Let's get us out of this game. And I think he just said, you know what? You call this play twice. Make people think it's a play that I'm just so in love with. Then later on, he'll make it look like that. And it'll be, fake it to Zay on a quick underneath and let OBJ run a slant underneath it.
No sweat, Jay. Thanks for joining us. We always appreciate you. Jay the Six, go sub to his channel. Another YouTuber with great content.
Look, and we put it in the Discord, so
So this is facts. This is facts. So another good thing I got from football today, is that maybe the AFC North isn't as scary as a lot of people thought it was to begin with. The Steelers got absolutely demolished by the 49ers. And then the Bengals got trounced by the Browns.
well, that's North on North crime. That could go any way, any day.
That's true.
And the Steelers versus the 49ers, I mean, that defense is crazy. Kenny Pickett is not.
I do understand it's the first game, 100%. But is there signs that Joe Burrow's just not healthy, and they're gonna risk him getting hurt long term if they keep him out on the field?
The Bengals always give him the business. I mean, the Browns always give him the business. I just don't know why we haven't taken the Browns formula and just copied it.
Because for some reason we can't do what the Browns do. And no, sir. No, you will not. No,
We
sir.
can't afford for you. Look, the notification already went out, sir. We're gonna need you to be on time.
Yep. And we're gonna make sure we're out of here on time. All right.
Might be a little early.
So, what going forward are you the most nervous about after the injuries, and even with the current play? What are you the most nervous about?
Line, period. O-line. I'm not worried about not a goddamn thing else but the O-line. The cornerbacks, I'm not even worried about. They'll get time under their belt. We'll get Marlon back in a few weeks. But this O-line, you can't replace that with – I mean, who's hurt for us to say that this is why the O-line ain't where it's supposed to be?
I mean, well, now Ronnie and
Ronnie wasn't
Tyler,
playing well enough
but
for us to say.
I was about to say, but they were in there while Lamar was on the run all game. So, but now it's looking like we're gonna have Musty at center and Makari at left tackle, and we still got the ops out there at right tackle.
Well, shit, the ops was playing better than Stanley was, so I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know, because the ops had a couple holds. He had a couple holding calls. He got beat.
Stanley still had
quite a few times.
Stanley had the joint where he stood up and pointed at the guy and walked off and got a penalty.
Listen, so it's one of those things. This offensive line is. I already said it was questionable coming into the season, right? Everybody said, "Oh, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine," and we thought left guard was the only problem. Looks like we got a lot more problems than we thought. And maybe the line just needs to gel together, because this offensive line also did not play together, mainly because John Harbaugh didn't play Ronnie in the preseason. I think I've seen very little of Tyler Lindenbaum in the preseason, especially lining up with Simpson at left guard. They did not line up with him. They lined up with that mistake of a draft pick that we kept on the team. Not that Saleh can't. You know what I did like? Can't grow into something eventually, but
I did tell y'all Malik Harrison about to come back this year. He's gonna handle some business, and apparently Malik said, "I gotta make sure B2's covered."
Hey, listen, Malik Harrison, but he's been playing good since the preseason.
Exactly, he came back.
I've been very happy with Malik Harrison. He's actually on the same timeline as PQ as far as he's showing progression at the same time. It's just PQ showing more progression. He's showing greater progression. PQ,
well, he's playing next to a better player also.
PQ, this is true. PQ to me showed and he shined today, by the way. He had a great game. Coverage. My goodness, did he do good in coverage? And I think when they drafted Trenton Simpson, I think he looked at it and he said, you know what, this guy can cover. That's probably why they drafted him. Well, let me show them I can cover too. Because he covered very well. Now, I said this at the beginning of the stream. It was against a lackluster Houston team. Had this been greater competition we were going against, this game would have been a lot tougher. And I think as Ravens fans, we'd have been a lot more upset when the game was over. But thankfully, you can only play who's in front of you. And Houston is what was in front of us. And we went out there and we did enough to win. Not only just win, but win by 16 points.
Well,
So
I wish we would have played Houston next week and played Cincy this week.
This is true. Cincy looked bad. And I'm pissed because T. Higgins did nothing for my fantasy team this week. And I don't even know if I still am, but I was holding on to a lead by a thread. Okay. Philly's defense is what's been keeping me together. But I'm gonna let that go for now because I'm nervous as can be. But coming out against Cincy, now again, that's a rival. They know us better. They play us better.
Everything we got is new. Our offense ain't even the same. We don't know our offense, so they can't know it.
Yeah, no, that's true. But
our defense
sometimes
is constant.
when you play an opponent and you see familiar faces, even with a new scheme, you tend to look at them and you say, I know what this guy's going to do. Like you know how to get into by them knowing us, they know how to get into our head, right?
Only one way. The defense is familiar with their offense. Our offense and their defense are not familiar.
All I know is T. Higgins better not go off next week because I'm gonna be pissed off. Actually, I need him to go off. Actually, I need the points, but I'd prefer that they still take the same L they took today next week against us.
I was about to say that. I was looking real Regg Bayless like. I'm glad you cleaned that up.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, Burrow got as many points as some of the wide receivers I have.
But yeah, Burrow did. That was rough. That was rough. But like we said though, he's hurt. He's still hurt, and it's like clear as day. So, do the Bengals? You think the Bengals bench him for next week and say, "Listen, just get better"?
I hope not.
You'd rather play an injured Burrow, right? I can't complain about that because injured Burrow, if he's going to play like this, they put a backup in, we might struggle.
Here's what happened. Jay the 6 happened to back out on the trade that I needed for a backup QB in case Burrow did get hurt. But we're gonna let that 6 week ago trader move go at this point in time.
It bothers me that it was exactly 6 weeks ago. Like what that's holding the grudge for real.
I don't think it was exactly 6 weeks ago, but it was somewhere around that area.
Well, here's my thing, right? Thank you for bringing him up because Brandon Stevens, apparently he's still struggling to cover, but he can hit. That was new to me because he was putting some hard shots out there today. Like he was intended on letting some people know he was ready to play ball. So he can hit, but
no, that trade was after the meet and greet. Whoa, pause.
Yeah, we're gonna pause that. But Woods was cooking. Woods was putting up numbers against him, and I mean, who are they gonna pull him for though? And I agree.
Football legend
100%, Hendo. I agree 100%. I don't know if Maulet's healthy. I don't know if Maulet's healthy. So, who do you put in there of what's left? Is Rocky Sin healthy? I know he was back to
Right.
practicing, but
He was
I don't.
active,
If
but I didn't see him.
yeah, I didn't see him either, unless that was 28. Who's 28? No, Darby's 28. So
Hold on, Jay. You telling people to come to get this work? I'm gonna need you to rethink your strategies on these comments.
I'm gonna have to go check the stat line to see if my boy played today, because I didn't get to look at the Seattle game at all. I'm gonna go check that now. Give me a second. I know he was active. I don't think he played though.
Nah, he's inactive.
Kolar was very upsetting. Kolar dropped a wide open pass. Now, I know the defender was on his way, but for you to have that ball hit your hands and not catch it, like it was well before the contact too. It just literally flowed right through his hands, and this is where we should have kept Vokalek. I think everybody, what except John Harbaugh
Felt that way.
Felt we should have kept Vokalek over Kolar, and we get Kolar out there, and that's what we get for it. And then I seen a lot of 42 out there lining up like a tight end. And, I don't like it. I don't like it. At this point, there's no point in Kolar being on the team because you're not using him to block, and he's dropping the ball when it comes his way, right? At 42, he's whiffing on blocks. So what do we have those two guys for? Right now, they're just eating up roster spots for somebody else. For a guy like Vokalek that could have been out there actually making plays. Now, I know what most people are saying. Oh, well, Vokalek made plays against a bunch of guys that's not on the roster right now. I get that, right? But isn't that the same group of people? That's exactly what I was about to say. Isn't that the same group of people that Kolar struggled to play against? So where in the preseason did we look at those two and say, yeah, we really got to keep Kolar? I just don't see it.
Once a draft
I don't see it. I get that. But they cut. This year was supposed to be the year of this is where things change because they cut a draft pick. They cut a 5th rounder. So this is supposed to be that year. I ain't letting it go. Rounder? I ain't letting it go.
Who's that 5th rounder?
Was that 5th rounder. They cut a 5th rounder who was desired by other teams. They cut a 5th rounder. I'm starting to think the Ravens, whoever's in that scouting department as of right now, doesn't know what they're looking for when they look for defensive talent. I don't think they know what they're looking for when they're looking for offensive talent. Because we had a huge drop-off over the years from what we were drafting. And I think the scouting department is the only place where there's been changes. I think one of our lead scouts from before was hired on by another team. So we're seeing a drop-off. And our drafting has just been bad. Anyway, you're right. We look for good guys and not good players. And that's a big difference. Either way, I think the team is going to grow. They're going to gel together. But it's going to take a little bit longer than I think a lot of Ravens fans hoped. I know a lot of Ravens fans hope to see us come out there and just ball out and go crazy. But, I mean, we did blow them out still. I thought the game was going to be closer. But it's going to take a while for us to gel. And now, hopefully, Linderbaum isn't hurt very seriously. I think he walked off on his own. So, Hopefully he's good. And it's just like a rolled ankle, a stinger, something he can recover from and be able to start next week. Because I don't want to go. If we walk out there and number 61 is on the field, if I see Musty on the field ready to snap the ball, I know it's over. I know, unless they make some type of changes as the week goes, then it's going to be over. Now, we are going to let y'all go. We just wanted to give our quick thoughts and feelings on the game today. But you can get more great Ravens content over at the Rogue Pod, going live 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So in a couple minutes here, he will be live. 3 minutes. You heard my calls. 3 minutes, he will be live. So Ghost, let them know where they can find you.
A6 Ghost, YouTube, A6 Ghost _ Instagram, Twitter.
All right. And you can find me, Livin Big with Big Reg, here on YouTube. Although a name change may be coming. You can also find me under that name on TikTok and Twitter. Or X, whatever they're calling it nowadays. Check out the store for merch. There's going to be some changes to merch as well. If I change the channel name, we'll see. But Reg Bailey, that would not be the channel name, sir, whatsoever. But we thank y'all for tuning in. We love y'all. Y'all have a happy Sunday evening.
This guy's channel next.
Yes, Hendo's channel next, the Rogue Pod. And y'all stay blessed. Peace.